Yeah, it's 2024. And for those of you that's looking to live a more plant-based lifestyle and you're wondering, how am I going to get more plants, fruits, and vegetables in my life? Well, boy, do I have a recipe for you. This recipe is delicious. It's easy, it's simple, it's flexible, and it is a way to get a variety of plants and vegetables in your life. So if that's one of your goals for the rest of your life, then stay tuned. This is so good.
Kingdom Lifestyle Coach. Keeping it real with Christ's approach. Kingdom Lifestyle Coach. Keeping it real with Christ's approach. We share with women what they should know. Transform their bodies when they're in Christ's flow. To understand the spirit laws of God. Release the kingdom promises while you grow. Kingdom Lifestyle Coach. Keeping it real with God's approach. Kingdom Lifestyle Coach. Keeping it real with God's approach.
Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Trina Claiborne, your Kingdom Lifestyle Coach. If you're new here, welcome. And if you are a subscriber, welcome back. I am so glad you are here. So as you can tell, we are in my kitchen. Now, I wanted to take a little bit of side note to the series that we've been doing based upon God's original diet plan and the secrets that was revealed. Because if you saw my last video, we talked about the soil and how important the soil is in terms of us being able to have the diet, the best diet that God have for mankind, and that is to consume more seed-bearing plants, fruits, and vegetables. Now, because of my deep diving and being the revelation that the Holy Spirit has started to share me, to start to direct how I did my research. As a result of that, I have changed my diet about 90 to 95% more plant-based fruits and vegetable, organic. And today I wanted to show you something that I've incorporated simply because one of the challenges, not just for myself, but as I've done my research and people that's going to this new lifestyle, is how to get the variety of different plants and vegetables in our diet on a daily basis and on a regular basis. So today I have a recipe that I pulled together based upon my likings. Now, the good thing about this recipe today, a lot of the ingredients are interchangeable, so that every time you make this dish, you don't have to stick to the same ingredients that you used the last time. So I'm not sure what to call it. It does not have any meat in this version of it. But like I said, I am 90 to 95% now plant-based, organic fruit, seeds, and vegetables. So this recipe, you can add the meat in if you would like and just not have it at every meal. But for today's recipe, it is void of all meat. Now, because I am about 90 to 95% plant-based, I have not taken eggs out of my diet. As far as meats, I have taken fish totally out of my diet. As far as red meat, I'll have that on special occasions like my birthday. I may have a ribeye steak. And as for chicken, very, very little bit of chicken. And then all processed food I've taken out of my diet. And as a result, it allowed me to be able to transition to more organic. So most of everything that I consume now is organic and seed-based. So for this recipe, we're going to go over all the ingredients. First of all, one of the things I love about cooking, like I've told you before, I am from Louisiana. And in Louisiana, the cuisine is quite rich in terms of flavor, spices, the fatness, and the goodness of that is so good to the palate. But to consume those dishes on a regular basis is detrimental to your health. And so over the years, I've been notorious for taking those recipes and transforming them to a more nutritious type recipes, and to maintain the texture and the flavor, because when you think about cooking, it's really the texture and the flavor that we're so drawn to. Well, as it turns out, and with my research, there's a lot of plants and vegetables on the earth that mimics the texture that you're looking for. And it's just a matter of doing the research, especially here in America, because we're so used to having certain staple vegetables in the stores, but there's so many more vegetables that we could consume. And it's really taking the opportunity to dig and dive and to find out different cultures that are consuming different types of plants and vegetables, is to open yourself up to that. And then when it comes to the flavor, when you think about it, every single spice that we use is derived from plants. Simple enough. Whether it's herbs or other vegetables, the seasonings are usually just powdered down versions of the plant, and we're consuming it. So that part of it should be an easy transition, because what you want to do is take those seasonings that you've been using in these foods that's basically killing us on a slower rate, that you can transfer that over to this new lifestyle. So that is what we're going to do today. So let's get into the ingredients. Now, there are some ingredients that I love because they pack so much flavor when it comes to spices, and these are some of the ingredients that I'm going to share with you that I keep in my cupboard at all time. When I see myself about to run out, I go and replace it before it does, because I use these things so much. And that's the unique and wonderful thing I love about cooking, is the creativity that you can bring. And you don't have to stick to a recipe. By all means, you don't have to stick to a recipe. Now, one of the things that I'm notorious for doing is not measuring anything. And so to be able to walk you through this, I'm going to give you an estimate on the amounts of it, but I'm heavy-handed when it comes to spices because I love things with a lot of flavor. But if you're the type of person that you don't like spicy, and you don't care for a lot of bursting flavor, having a party on your tongue, then my suggestion for you is to use the spices you like and taste it along the way, and see it, and put the amount that would satisfy your palate. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I keep in my cupboard. Now, this is something, some of you may be familiar with this. This is Bragg Amino, liquid aminos. Now, what I love about this is that it's packed with a lot of flavor. It kind of reminds you of soy and Worcestershire sauce, minus the high sodium content, and of course it has protein in it. And what I love about this, when you're doing a liquid type seasoning, this is perfect. You can put it in your soups, you can put it on your meats if you're still having meats, you can marinate your vegetables on it, you can add it to your sauces to give it a whole new flavor. I absolutely love this, and if you notice, I got it in the big bottle, and so I never run out of that. Another seasoning that I love is cumin. Now, I put this on a lot of my vegetables, especially the beans. I use that a lot. And of course, onion powder and garlic powder. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Now these spices, the one thing that I make sure that whatever spices that you're using, make sure you read the label and that there is no added salt or sugar. Because what I'm finding that in the food industry, I'm not sure, well, I do know why, but there's so many products that have those two ingredients in it for no reason. So my advice to you is, even today, after you watch this video, is take a look at your seasonings and see if it has salt. Now, if it doesn't have salt in the name of the spice, then look at the ingredients and see if those two ingredients are in there. And do know when it comes to sugar, sugar can have so many different names. You just need to know what they are. But if it has the word, if it has a spelling and the last four letters is O-S-E, OS, fructose, lactose, all of those, then you know that that is some form of sugar. All right, so we got cumin, we got onion powder, garlic powder. Now another one that I love, you know, like I said, I am from Louisiana. This is Cajun seasoning. Now I got this one because they didn't have the blackening seasoning. That's the one that I love the most, but because they didn't have that, these two taste pretty similar. Now I must admit, these Cajun seasoning and the blackening seasoning, they will have a high salt content in them. So if that is an issue for you, if salt is an issue, you have high blood pressure and you're trying to work on reducing that, then but you love the flavor of this, then what I would recommend is that you do two things. Well, I thought I had some cayenne pepper, but if you love the Cajun seasoning and you have a salt issue, here's what I recommend you do. Take something like Mrs. Dash lemon pepper, because it has no salt in it, but it'll give you that twang that you're looking for, and add cayenne pepper. So those combination will give you almost the same flavor as the Cajun seasoning or the jerk seasoning or blackening seasoning. I like all three of those, Cajun, jerk, and blackening seasoning, because they have their popping with flavor. Now the other thing is, if you like something a little smoky, you can get the organic smoked paprika. That's another seasoning that I love to have. And then of course, crushed red pepper flakes. That's something that you can get almost anywhere, right? There you go. So those are some of the spices. Those are some of my staple spices that I love to have on hand at all time. Now for you, there may be other herbs that you like, whether it's sage, curry, and that's another one that I love, curry, any of the Indian types flavors. So that's the thing that I want you to really start to look at, the foods that you love as you making this transition, and figure out what is it about that dish you love so much in terms of the flavor. Figure out what that is and make sure you start to buy those seasonings so that when you start creating your own recipes, you can mimic that flavor. Because I can tell you this, making this transition to have a healthy lifestyle, if the food doesn't taste good, I already know that you're not going to stick to it. If that's just the way it is. So this dish, this dish is going to be very, very hearty. And what I mean by that is that it's going to have a lot of vegetables, a lot of flavor, and because it's void of meat, the ingredient that we're going to be using today is black beans. Now today I'm using the canned version of it. Now, I do have my own black bean recipe. In terms of this versus my recipe, of course, is extremely spicy. So what I'm going to do with with these beans, I'm going to put the spices from my recipe in this and let it marinate overnight. So I'll feel like I made these beans, and I love these because of course they are organic, and what it says in the ingredients, I love what it says in the ingredients. I'm not sure if you can see that right there. The ingredient says organic black beans, water, and sea salt. That's it. Simple. No pesticides, coloring, none of that. So I was okay with buying this. And it will decrease my cooking time, but I'm going to infuse my own flavors in it and let it sit overnight. And another thing that I like cooking with is actually lemon juice. And this is Santa Cruz organic lemon juice. You can get that from any grocery store. It has the least pesticides in it on the market, other than you getting organic lemons and juicing your lemons. Now, I don't do that. I always get this, and every now and then I would get those, but once I discovered that one because it passed the Yuka app, and so that's what I'm using. So this recipe, of course, is going to have the black beans. We're going to have, and that's for the protein. This is where we're going to get the protein from, and we're going to get carbohydrates with the wild organic rice, and of course we're going to have a little bit of fat in there because I'll be putting some olive oil in there, and then I'll have more vegetables. I like doing the fire roasted tomatoes. Now, because these are already cooked, what I like to do with these, I put these in my dish last, and I don't let them cook too much because they're already seasoning, and I'll show you how I kick up the seasoning in this one. I always buy the fire roasted one because it has roasted garlic with it as well. So that's like more plants that I'm getting into this recipe. And so I'm gonna put my ingredients in the description box, and I'll let you know how much I put in there, and it's quite a bit of seasoning. So if you don't like it as spicy, there's some things that you can eliminate and change out to what you like. And let's keep it simple, let's keep it fun, and let's keep it creative. That's what I love about cooking. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the big reveal. We're gonna taste this dish. As you can see, all of the vegetables are not overly cooked. They still have vibrant colors in them. You can see the beans, you can see the mushrooms. Now, one of the things that I like to do with this dish is to add some nuts. Now, I prefer pecans. Of course, you can use whatever nuts that you like on this. And so I just sprinkle a few of them on. Okay. Now, this in itself is spicy and delicious enough. But of course, you know, I like to kick it up a little bit. And I was in Sprouts not long ago, and I love trying different dish from different countries. And I came across this India dish. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, but it says Maya Kaimal, and it's tikka Marcella. So I'm gonna put this, see if it would focus on that. Now, this sauce, I find that you can put it in hearty one bowl dishes like this. You can use it to make your own, to add to your sauces. And it has a wonderful flavor. I'm just gonna let you see what it looks like in terms of color. And the texture is it's kind of creamy, and you only need a little bit of it because the flavor is just absolutely popping. And this is how I eat, for real. I mean, I've changed my diet, and this is just a simple way to be able to incorporate a lot of vegetables in my diet. It keeps me satiated, and I absolutely love it. There's nothing in there that is going to harm my body. So let's taste this dish. I'm gonna try to get a little bit of everything that I put into this. Make sure I get a pecan. This is so good. It's so good. It's so hearty. You got the crunch. You got the saltiness. You got every macronutrient in it. It's good. And then the mushrooms with that texture, you would swear that there's some type of meat in this recipe. Okay, let me get one more bite. This is it. This is so good. This dish is so delicious, and you can have it as one meal, as like a one bowl meal, or you can have it as a side dish. And if you do have it as a side dish, you probably won't need no more than about a cup of it because it is so hearty, so nutrient dense, and it is absolutely delicious. And like I said, links to this recipe is in the description box, so definitely check it out. You just create a free login and you have full access to that, as well as the spicy black bean recipe. But I'm trying to definitely help for those who want to live a more plant-based lifestyle, to come up with ideas to be able to incorporate more plants, because that is the key, so says the research. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so and subscribe. There's more videos coming. And do know that there's a part 2 to this video. I'm going to talk about the green smoothies that I've incorporated and what type of changes that I've done to my environment to make me win in this lifestyle, which is a more plant-based, seed-bearing fruits and vegetables lifestyle. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next video.